As the summer intensifies across China, many elderly individuals, hoping to avoid high electricity costs while staying cool, have begun frequenting restaurants and commercial spaces to enjoy free air conditioning. This behavior is becoming more and more common in certain areas. One video shows a crowd of 300 to 400 seniors pouring into a supermarket to escape the heat. They turn the space into a makeshift lounge, smoking, playing cards, and chatting loudly, all of which disturbed other shoppers. Despite repeated efforts from the staff to ask them to leave, sometimes even escalating the matter, the seniors remained unfazed, leaving the store owner in a helpless position. While it's understandable to seek out cool public areas during extreme heat, such actions shouldn't come at the expense of others' comfort or the environment. On July 17, 2025, a video filmed inside a McDonald's restaurant drew widespread attention online. The footage showed more than a dozen elderly people gathered around tables, some playing cards, others speaking loudly, creating a noisy and uncomfortable environment. The store appeared nearly empty of regular customers and had essentially been transformed into a senior activity center. According to the person who filmed the video, someone who walks by the restaurant daily, this has been a recurring issue for years. Elderly people regularly occupy tables without making purchases, often staying through busy hours at lunch and in the afternoon. Some even bring their own games and thermos bottles for tea, lingering from morning until night. In many cases, they speak at high volumes or smoke in non-smoking areas, greatly affecting the dining experience of others. Further investigations show that this isn't an isolated phenomenon. Across multiple cities in China, similar behaviors are common. In Beijing, many KFC and McDonald's branches are regularly filled with elderly visitors. In Chandalu, some chain cafes have effectively turned into gathering places for the elderly. In Guangzhou, fast food outlets near metro stations have even been jokingly nicknamed elderly card rooms. These seniors are typically retirees, often with grown children living far away, and they lack access to local community centers. As a result, they're drawn to commercial venues that offer air conditioning, ample seating, and a relatively peaceful atmosphere. Another viral video taken in a Shanghai McDonald's shows a family who brought their own food, including a large pot, to the restaurant just to enjoy the air conditioning. They poured their homemade corn and pork rib soup into a plastic tray and began eating as though they were at home. The mingling aroma of the soup with fried chicken surprised many of the nearby diners. Some viewers responded by saying they now understand why many people are turning to membership-only supermarkets and malls, places less likely to attract such behavior. A similar incident occurred on July 5th in Xingan County, Jiangxi Province, sparking frustration among restaurant staff. "If you want to talk, go outside. This isn't a senior community center," one employee said. "These elderly people come here every single day. It's gotten so bad that we can't even do business properly. Customers walk in and can't find a seat. When the manager is around, he tells them to leave, but they ignore the rest of us. I've seen them take off their shoes, lie on the sofas, or sit with their feet on the chairs. It's disgusting, and now regular customers are avoiding the place." Wallace, a popular fast food chain, usually sees heavy foot traffic from both in-store diners and delivery orders. So when a group of seniors walks in without buying anything, just to enjoy the cool air, it significantly disrupts operations. What's worse is that some engage in inappropriate behavior, removing shoes, resting their feet on seats, or even falling asleep at the tables. After the video of the incident went viral, public criticism surged online. Many users condemned the elderly for having no self-respect and accused them of exploiting the business. On July 6, around 2 p.m., a Wallace employee noted that fewer seniors had been coming in since the video's release. He added that the issue has persisted every summer since the restaurant opened. Despite frequent attempts by staff to ask them to leave, their efforts were largely unsuccessful. Even when more assertive measures were taken, they rarely worked. The constant crowding hurt the store's image and drove away paying customers. Eventually, local government authorities stepped in and educated some of the elderly, successfully persuading them to leave. For now, that particular incident appears to be resolved. However, such behavior, exploiting public resources for personal benefit, extends beyond summertime. It happens year-round. On the evening of July 15 in Choyang, Liaoning Province, An elderly walking group obstructed traffic, blocking ambulances and fire trucks, triggering widespread criticism across the country. A video shows over 100 seniors, dressed in red and waving flags, marching down a major road. Even as sirens blared and emergency lights flashed from one ambulance and two fire trucks, the group refused to move. After several minutes of deadlock, the emergency vehicles were forced to stop and wait. Reportedly, the group belongs to the Chaoyang on the Road Club, and the incident took place on the Riverside Road in Chaoyang City. On July 18th, a staff member from the Daling Scenic Area Management Center confirmed that government departments had taken notice and were addressing the issue. He explained that the area features a 7-kilometer-long linear park with a 10-meter-wide road, where the elderly walking group exercises daily from 7 to 8 p.m. Complaints had already been made about these groups taking up road space and disrupting traffic. In many cities, these elderly fitness groups wear matching outfits, carry flags, and chant slogans, often using loudspeakers. While meant for health and socializing, their behavior frequently causes friction, blocking roads, ignoring traffic signals, and interfering with both pedestrians and vehicles. Critics online voiced their frustration. This was a matter of life and death, but these seniors didn't care. They think their group walk is more important than an emergency. They're forcing traffic to stop, ignoring red lights. They have no sense of public responsibility. This kind of behavior deserves strict punishment. Then came another unexpected scene on July 17th, this time on a high-speed train from Xiamen to Wuhan. A group of elderly women started singing, dancing, and performing in the aisle. Two stood out. One wore a blue sleeveless blouse with her hair pinned up. The other donned a long floral dress and oversized earrings. They laughed and danced while others waited for their turn to be filmed. The tapping of shoes echoed through the train car. Two more women engaged in a loud argument. A bystander noted that the dancing wasn't spontaneous. It was staged for a video, with another woman recording the entire act. When the train attendant finally made her way through the crowd and asked them to stop, they ignored her. Instead, they continued dancing and posing for the camera, acting as if she wasn't even there. Online commenters had little sympathy. We've heard of dancing aunties before, but seeing this firsthand is a whole new level of chaos. This isn't your living room. You're having fun while the rest of us are forced to endure it. So why do these types of incidents keep happening across China? One vlogger argues that many elderly people's tendency to seek small personal gains stems from their upbringing. He shared a case from a village in Anhui province, where a farmer named Mr. Shai, who leased 500 acres to grow potatoes, suffered massive losses during harvest. Starting June 10th, groups of hundreds, sometimes over 1,000, villagers came daily to dig up potatoes for free. The police opened a case on June 14th. Rather than rushing to call these seniors bad people who grew old, the vlogger urged viewers to consider their background. Most were born in the 1940s to 1960s, a time marked by hunger and scarcity. That kind of deprivation creates an instinct to grab whatever is available. He suggested that if China implemented a system like Taiwan's, where elderly receive monthly pensions of 6,000 to 7,000 yuan, along with free healthcare, such behaviors would decrease significantly. In today's China, many seniors live on very limited savings and remain vulnerable to illness or unexpected expenses. To them, free Wi-Fi and free air conditioning are lifelines. But this survival strategy shifts the cost to businesses and everyday customers, creating a destructive cycle. Culturally, thrift is a virtue in Chinese society, yet in some cases that virtue has become a license to exploit. From collecting scrap on the streets, to chasing discounts, to now squatting in air-conditioned spaces, what was once survival wisdom has evolved into a widespread habit. Some even joke, Chinese people can squeeze every drop out of anything free. But beneath the jokes lies a darker truth, a disregard for rules and a lack of concern for others' rights. If these elderly individuals understood how much their behavior hurt businesses, would they earn more sympathy in return? At the heart of the issue lies the CCP. While local authorities responded to the Jiangxi case with ideological lectures, it was only a superficial remedy. The real issue is systemic. The disconnect between the CCP's slogan of people-centered governance and the real-world absence of supportive infrastructure. There's a glaring lack of accessible, well-equipped public spaces for seniors to cool off or socialize. The infamous pot and bowl incident at McDonald's in Shanghai exposed how ineffective local enforcement is. Even basic order is hard to uphold. The central government may be cutting luxury spending and cracking down on corruption, but grassroots facilities are still neglected. Cooling shelters, misting stations, and shaded public seating are scarce. In the absence of those, people inevitably flock to fast food chains and retail stores. Ultimately, this is a public services failure, leaving citizens to fend for themselves. Using air conditioning without ordering and exploiting free samples aren't just isolated behaviors. They're grassroots coping mechanisms for a society under strain. What's more troubling is how the state's response remains superficial. After Jiang Xi's ideological campaign, a similar case popped up in Shanghai just days later. Online users mocked, "The education session is over, but the pots are still here." When a family uses McDonald's as their kitchen, the impact isn't just local, it hurts China's global image. Made in China may continue to rise, but Chinese behavior is making people think twice.